Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, you with Coach Jay, and we're just chilling here, and we'll have a conversation. You may hear people at the park making noise. You know, it's one of my favorite places of coming is to sit down and be in the environment, be around people as I talk to you all about things that help us to make better decisions, help us to perform, help us to come to a place of awareness. And today, I want to deal with that. I want to deal with the aspect that some of us really don't want to deal with what's right before us. We have what we call this concept called willingness to ignore. That means you go out your way to make sure that this doesn't happen or that doesn't come to fruition. In order to do that, we relate it with a cognitive bias where individuals choose to disregard or overlook information even when it's available to potential is potentially crucial. I mean, like, you really go out your way to not observe the obvious. It's put right in front of us. We try to look around. We try to go this way. We try to turn our heads. We try not to embrace the fact that there is an issue going on. And we believe that if we don't deal with it, eventually it's going to be like the sand. The wind's going to come and blow it away. That's not always the case, especially if you're living in life. You're living in this type of environment where every day life throws a curveball. Every day there is some issue that could arise up to change the very essence of how you govern yourself. People can come in and out your life and choose and make things change just like that. You have to understand that when you willingly go out to ignore something, it has a very negative outcome. Some people say, I just ignore it to act like I don't see it. But how many people can go blind to what you see? I mean, you see it right in front of you, you're going to act like you didn't see it. Or you hear information, or if you obtain information, then you act like you don't know what that information could bring about. Resources and things of that nature come in your hand. We ignore this because it makes, in some cases, comfortable for us. If I don't have to deal with it, or I can play oblivious to the fact that I know what they're expecting of me, then it buys me time. What time is it buying? It brings more frustration and aggravation because now every day you got to act like you don't know what they're asking of you. A problem come up, a situation coming in, a challenge, a crossroad that you're at. You can't keep practicing this. You just can't keep going forward and pushing everything into this willfully ignoring. You got to stop that. This is not a good way to live when every time something comes up, you try to turn around and run the other way because you don't want to deal with the pressures that whatever this result of this exercise or this being or entity or whatever it is element is coming to you, you don't want to deal with it. So instead of dealing with it, you try to teach yourself to ignore it. This has caused so many negative things to happen in your life because now you're at a place where those things that you've been willfully ignoring over the years now have multiplied, has came up, and now they're all sitting on your plate at one time, and you can't turn away from it. It has actually it's surrounded you, and now everywhere you turn, there is an issue. There is something that has to be dealt with. And what do? You grab onto two things, either depression or anxiety, or the mixture of both. And you do that because you feel like there's no way out. I'm boxed in, I'm smothered, I don't know. And I'm going to this place where anxiety causes our body to respond in such a way that now our emotions spin out of control and we find ourselves crying, we find ourselves weeping, we shut off from others, we go in this corner, all because when issues come up, instead of us addressing it, we willfully ignore it. I do understand there are some things that come up in our life that we don't want to address then. Taking the opportunity to look at the situation and say, I don't want to address it now, is not ignoring it. I am actually putting it on a shelf or putting it on my priority list that I will one day come back and do it. Because if we could be honest with ourselves, sometimes things happen, we just don't know how to respond to it. That's not ignoring it. It's just that I'm trying to gather myself and found it the right way to deal with it. A perfect example of what I'm sharing is everyone in their life will one day go through losing a significant person, either them choosing to go in a different direction, the relationship end, or ultimately death. And in that, sometimes we don't want to deal with either of the three because it brings us into an emotional place where we remember all the good and the bad, or we're now looking at how we're going to function this far without that missing element that we have programmed and got comfortable to. That's not ignoring it. It's just that I'm trying to figure the right way to deal with it. I don't have an answer right now, but I will have one in time. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that you have a simple thing, a bill to be done, or you have to finish a project, or you have to go somewhere by a certain time, and people are expecting you to follow through. And you just don't know how to deal with it because you don't want to put the work in. You don't want to really tell them no. So what you do is procrastinate, ignore it, or hopefully time will pass and they will forget about it. Or time has allotted and you can't pull off and drive off in time to make it. So by you ignoring it, time did what you wanted to do to pass. And therefore hoping that your excuse would be, oh, time, oh, the car, oh, I didn't get provided this, or mostly we blame others. You know, this person didn't give me that, so therefore I couldn't do it. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't want to do it. A lot of times when you talk about willingness to ignore it, is when you don't want to take responsibility of saying or doing something for somebody or to somebody that's going to bring them into pain, or you feel that you can embrace the pain by ignoring it and it'll go away. Either or both of them causes issues. I'm not sitting here and telling you the right way, the wrong way to deal with things. I'm just telling you, you have to be very careful when you're treading down this willfulness, ignoring, and thinking something positive is going to come out of it. You have to take ownership for your actions up front. If you don't want to deal with it, tell people. If you don't feel that you're capable of doing it, tell people. If you're just not in the state of mind to deal with it, tell them. And stop trying this practice of this concept of just willfully ignoring it. Just go and turn your head and eventually poof, it'll go away. Most of the time it gets worse because when you're creating or dealing with other people and people are expecting you to help them because of the fact that you have given your word or you have led them to believe that you're there to assist them, they expect that and they count on you for that. And when that doesn't manifest, now they're upset. Other things that they have scheduled or planned begins to have a domino effect in a negative way if you were the sole provider or purpose for the end results to be promising. If you willfully ignore it instead of just addressing that, they can move on and maybe find somebody else or find something else to help, then fine. If not, then your willfulness to ignore it has caused other chain reaction, not only for yourself, but for them. Now they feel like you don't care about them. They care that you don't want to be a part of them, but you couldn't tell them that. So that hurts them even more. Now you have an imbalance between you and them because you didn't want to face the issue up front. So willfully ignoring this, in some cases people believe it gives them time to embrace the outcome, the negative outcome. It buys me time that I don't really have to hurt your feelings up front. Hopefully you'll learn by me not doing something, then you will move on to somebody else. I think that's cheating on both sides. Cheating you as a person to tell somebody about how you truly feel about the issue, and cheating them out of a good friendship that will be straightforward and tell them, you know what, I would like to help you, but I can't. Or I choose not to. I think understanding, regardless of the outcome, you need to take hold of what you're responsible for. And giving up your time, your efforts is your responsibility. Dealing with an issue that is your choice. Exercise your choice by telling people the truth. If you don't want to deal with it, don't. If you're going to deal with it, then stay to your word. And if you can't deal with it, be truthful. But ignoring it is not going to go away. It's going to have a domino effect. So, hey, this is Coach Jay. I just wanted to talk to you about willfully ignoring it. Come up with the idea that works best for you. If you feel that that's the practice here, then that's your choice. I'm not here to try to tell you the right thing. I'm just giving you outcomes. I'm giving you information to help you to look at things. And at the end, you make the best decision for you. Remember, I'm just trying to get you to see things from a different perspective. This is why we're here at this crossroad junction, where we're taking the time to talk to you about how to do things to make things different. So until we talk again, this is Coach Jay. You have a great one.